Welcome back. So we are starting with the nation. Federal government, why we failed to meet 5,000 megawatt target. Electricity workers suspend strike. PDP taken over by devil, says Bode George. Bawa, EFCC secured 4,430 convictions in 19 months. Lagos Blue Rail line to begin test run December. Governors hit Malami on $480 million Parry Fund club payment. 2023, Tinubu visits Obasanjo amid pomp. Huge crowd at ex-president's library complex, stadium. APC candidates cause Abiodun high. Controversy over 18 billion bush clearing cash. Wrestler to die by hanging. What stories do we have in the nation?
Let me take the wrestler to die because it's not in any other paper. So there's a famous local wrestler in Adamawa State, and he has been sentenced and is to die by hanging for killing his wife. So the story is that he and his wife had been separated since 2018, and the marriage wasn't really a good one. They had constant feud. And she left, and they got separated. And then eventually she met someone, fell in love, and had been insisting on him giving her a proper divorce, divorce letter. He said on this particular day, he pushed her so hard, she fell on the floor and took a pestle and smashed her until she died. And so he's been sentenced and will be, be hanged.
Sad story.
Sad story.
Very, very horrible story. The major headline. Okay. So the governors, Nigerian Governors Forum have gone against the Attorney General of the Federation on this same $418 million Paris Club refund. They've called him a liar. They've called him self-serving. They wrote a communique where they really addressed his person on this issue, saying that the matter is sub judice, is presently in court, but the Attorney General insists and is giving clear and definitive dates as to the time of payment. The Attorney General at an interview had said that this payment due to the consultants will be done under this administration before the end of the tenure of the President Muhammadu Buhari. As logical and legal, his argument sounds, if a matter is in court, you leave it till the court rules on it. But he is saying it affirmatively as if, this is a payment that has to be done. He's saying that, the Governors Forum, not only did they engage these consultants, not these administrations, but then their predecessors, and they submitted to a consent judgment which they had brought forward. And that consent judgment, in all of those motions, admitted to owing. That they gave a letter of no objection by the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria that, they did all of that, attesting to the fact that they owe these consultants, and now they are saying that the money should not be paid. He says that what he's trying to do is prevent an embarrassment of the government where the assets of the federal government are attached to a judgment. That it would be embarrassing to find out the assets of the federal government is attached in any court judgment, even the financial assets, the foreign reserves of any other income deposited, associated income deposited in the central bank is attached to a judgment in favor of those consultants, and so is preceding the court to decide that this is what will be done. But I know he's a lawyer and that he will allow the court to have the
Okay, so the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has said it did not spend 18.9 billion on bush clearing, as reported very recently because it was in the news. And they said investigation has already started with the House of Reps being in charge of it. But they said that they spent only 2.5 billion on bush clearing and land preparation of 3,200 hectares in 8 states. So they said that this news that came out that they had spent 18.9 billion is probably because media took it out of context. That was not the meaning of what was said. And they also mentioned some of the states that they used this money. And this happened during the lockdown, COVID-19. They said 8 states, Osun, Ekiti, Edo, Cross River, Kaduna, Kwara, Plateau, and Ogun, were allocated, and then the total cost of everything was about 2.5 billion. Then they went ahead to use the remaining amount of money for construction of rural roads in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, soil sampling and mapping, farmers registration, as well as rehabilitation and the equipping of 4 national soil laboratories in Umudike, Ibadan, Kaduna, and FCT Abuja. However, when this investigation started, they called about 20 companies that were given this contract to appear. Only 2 of them appeared, and the 2 managers were not even able to explain their books. So they sent them back saying that they have to come send in their MDs to carry out this explanation. And it's not about the money that was given or the contract or the companies. It's about the fact that they need to provide the places they use this money. We need to vet it and be sure that they got value for the money that is used. I just hope that they will continue with the investigation so that we're sure. Let's move on quickly to the Punch. Electricity workers call off strike. Businesses count losses. 418 refund. $1 million refund. Governor knocks Malami over commission. We've taken that. PDP crisis. Peace threatened. Wike Atiku's men disagree over Ayu. APC supporters hold carnival as Tinubu visits Obasanjo. ASU begins consultations on next move. Great grandma collapses. Dies while climbing Lagos Bridge. Northern youths protest insecurity in Abuja. What stories do we have in the Punch?
Okay, let me take the human interest story quickly. So this great-grandmother, not identified in the report, was insisted on accompanying her daughter to her granddaughter's baby naming ceremony on Tuesday.
Okay.
And on their way, they had to use the pedestrian bridge. And, you know, she then, after climbing on the bridge, she collapsed with her tongue sticking out. Oh. And, you know, she was just, you know, motionless for a while. So a good Samaritan, someone in the medical field, tried to do CPR on her. She did not respond. And then later, some good Samaritan women like herself rushed her to the hospital along with her daughter. They confirmed later that she died. And now they're saying that she was perfectly okay until she climbed the bridge. And so the climbing of the bridge, because I don't think, my heart is with them. It's sad that she died, but the pedestrian bridge is supposed to serve a purpose. The bridge in question is the Beggar Bridge. Okay. And you know how that express road is, so there's no alternative to crossing that bridge. I think that her health, yes. She's a septuagenarian, so maybe between 70 to 80 years, and this could happen to anyone, really.
Rest in peace.
Amen.
So a northern group called Arewa Youth Assembly has called for the removal of the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Monguno. During the protest in Abuja, this happened Wednesday, that was yesterday, the publicity secretary of the association was talking to journalists, and he says that the reason why they are protesting is just because of the insecurity in Nigeria. And as far as they are concerned, they don't think that the NSA is doing his job. It's either he's not giving the president the proper advice, or whatever advice he's given is just ineffective. You know, they're saying that we have unprovoked killings and abductions of Nigeria. Their farms, houses, on the trains, major highways. The kidnappers have become so emboldened because it's like nothing happens, they are getting away with it. Talking about not just the north, says in the southeast, we have people who cannot come out on Mondays because they're afraid, and that's all just part of insecurity. And we have a national security advisor, and so they're saying it's either he resigns or he be sacked, because as far as they're concerned, they do not see that he's doing his job.
Okay, so ASU begins consultations on next move. So the National Strike Organizing Committee of the Academic Staff Union of Universities are going to be meeting today, Wednesday, to decide on their next move. They say after this meeting, they will have another one with the Congress, and then they will get back to how they want to proceed with the strike. And they went ahead to advise Nigerians not to vote for any politician whose children are schooling outside the country, that we need to begin to vote for people who are patriotic, who have the interest of the country at heart, and we need to be very careful while we are casting our votes this time around. Let's take a short break. When we come back, the newspaper reviews continue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're moving on to the Daily Sun. IPOB alleges indiscriminate arrest of members. Governor draws blood over 418 million Pari Club refund. We've taken that story. Lagos launches final track beam for Blue Line rails. Electricity workers suspend strike after parley with federal government. Blood services. Federal government gives unregistered health facilities 30 days ultimatum. 2023, Tinubu meets Obasanjo. Peter Obi visits Femi Kuti. EFCC goes after forex manipulators, secures 210 convictions in 7 months. Buhari, IBB, Abiodun, The Sun, others mourn as veteran journalist Onabule dies. Insecurity, Lagos under partial lockdown, according to the Commissioner of Police. Shit sword in interest of PDP, Bodejo tells Atiku and Wike. What stories are we taking in The Sun?
Insecurity, Lagos under partial lockdown, says the Commissioner of Police in Lagos, Abiodun Alabi, yesterday. So this, he says, is on the based on intelligence where there's a threat of attack by unknown gunmen, and so the police will be out and other security agencies in their full force, and so that would mean more security checkpoints on our roads, and they'll do a thorough search. And it also assures us that okay, first he says, yes, we do not have enough personnel or manpower with the police, but the collaboration between community and police will go a long way. So he was also calling on traditional leaders, religious leaders, community leaders, and just everybody, just don't be afraid to give information to the police if you notice anything or see anything. And they also are assuring Nigerians that they will work, you know, be professional in their own, on their own part. And they're saying to any unknown person or criminal, intended or unintended, that they are ready for anyone if you come to this Lagos State, and they're going to make sure that they protect us. So we pray for their victory, because their victory is ours.
Yes, of course.
I mean, and I like that. In this case, we hear there's intelligence, and then we're seeing preparation for
being proactive.
We're being proactive. So
amazing.
Okay, so I wanted to take the acting DG of the National Blood Service Commission, Dr. Omale Amidu. He's issued a warning to unregistered health facilities that they should conform by registering within 30 days with the National Blood Service Commission. That, you know, such unregistered centers they'll be unable to regulate their services. And, you know, blood services, blood banks, blood sales and all of that are things that must be controlled so that people get the best of the service that, you know, is required. And he also asked that, you know, for those of us patronizing those unregistered centers, we should insist on the seal. The National Blood Service Commission has a seal at centers that are registered with them, and if you do not see those seals, please do not buy.
Okay, so the indigenous people of Biafra are alleging indiscriminate arrests of Igbo citizens across the country at different airports, Lagos and Abuja airports, said that when they come in, once they have any signia of Biafra, they are picked up, they are quizzed, they are questioned, they are not allowed to call their family members, they're not allowed to call their lawyers, and so they are just taken to different police stations across the country. And they are saying that this should stop, and also calling on the UN to say that there's a lot that is going on in the country right now. Everybody has a right, even in the Constitution, to seek for a referendum, and the police does not need to keep arresting those people because they show any sign of belonging to or talking about Biafra. Let's move on to the Tribune. Nigerian Tribune. Troops dislodge more bandits. Camp rescue 6 hostages in Kaduna. Government closes schools. Students stranded. Parents jittery in Jigawa. Lagos under partial lockdown. Commissioner of Police. Electricity workers suspend strike. Tinubu in closed-door meeting with Obasanjo. Appeal court orders retrial of Kano singer sentenced to death for blasphemy. Akeredolu offers 50,000 naira to Ondo residents who volunteer information on criminals. What do we have in the...
Okay, let me quickly take the blasphemy story. So the appeal court has upheld the decision of the High Court, dismissing the death sentence on a Kano musician, Yahya Sharif Aminu, and also referring the matter back to the court where it was originally held. I think it was the area court, or I think the Supreme Council for Sharia. Sorry, this is so embarrassing for a lawyer. So I'm trying to find the court of first instance, but I can't get it within the story. But you know, the musician, through his lawyer, had appealed a judgment, sentencing him to death for blasphemy, and the High Court dismissed that death sentence and said the matter should be retried. And now he went ahead to the High Appeal Court, and the Appeal Court, we upheld that stand of the High Court. So right now, they've sent the matter back to the Court of First Instance for a retrial. I'm just trying to find out which courts are now in the system in the north. Again, it's not.
It's not a Sharia court, or
I'm sure it's an area court. I'm just trying to find out what exactly it's called recently.
Okay.
So troops dislodge bandits Kaduna camp and rescue 6 hostages. So they say the government is warmly commending the troops, police personnel, intelligence operatives, vigilante, and other security forces for what they have termed another successful round of operation in Kaduna State. They say that the Operation Forest Sanity have dislodged bandits camp, and in the process rescued 6 hostages that had been held in Chikun local government area of the state. They said that this is in continuation of what they had been doing over the weekend, and clearing of the bandits and terrorist camps around the state. I'm happy that they're doing that. I hope this also means that we're able to arrest some of these bandits and kidnappers, or were these bandits and kidnappers camps empty by the time they got there? I would just like to have more information.
Have that
but
detail.
Thankfully, 6 people have been rescued, and that is always good news when we're able to rescue.
Okay, so the court is the Upper Sharia Court of
You found it.
I found it, yeah.
All right, so Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State has promised to give 50,000 naira reward to anyone who shares information with security agencies that lead to the arrest of kidnappers, criminals in the state. So according to the governor, he's trying to encourage a lot of people to be proactive. When you see something, you say something, you make sure that you report. And there's a number that was given. So it's going to be 0800-555-5555. You can just call as an individual. Okay, 080-055-555-555. Yeah, so after 080-10, and then the remaining are just 5s. So he's trying to encourage people to speak out. Everybody needs to work together in fighting these bandits and kidnappers and criminals that are all around the state. And he also promised that the people who make these reports will be protected. So they should not be afraid that the bandits will get to them after reporting. So let's move on now to the Vanguard. Blackout as workers shut down national grid. I'm sure we'll take this here now. Tinubu mom after closed-door meeting with Obasanjo. Buhari, IBB, Ogun Governor mourns as Chief Duro Onabule dies at 83. Will conduct local government polls without PDP. Usiek chairman. PDP crisis. Pressure mounts on IU to step aside as old video surfaces. Insecurity. Expose kidnappers, other criminals, and get a reward. Blasphemy. Appeal court orders retrial of Kano singer sentenced to death. What story do we have? Okay, go ahead.
So in what I call a power flexing, the National Union of Electricity Employees shut down yesterday the national grid, and we were all in darkness. I've not gotten like this morning. What they said triggered this was the directive of the TCN board that all principal managers in acting capacity must undergo a promotional interview. And this was the major of it, aside the, that the emolument of the former PHCN staff has not been paid since 2019. But the one that shocked me is that a directive asking them to come for an interview is enough ground to just shut down the national grid, whether or not we have light. If we like, we don't have. We should take it or leave it. But thanks to the Minister for Power, who has called them to sheath their swords while they give them a period of 2 weeks to settle all grievances.
We hope that they settle the grievances.
You
have one more story.
Yes, so in Jigawa State, the governor had... So this story is that the governor sent out a message electronically, ordering immediate closure of public schools in the state. And Tribune said that, all around the state, they saw that children were carrying their property out of schools. Some of them, trying to find their way, while some were just standing helplessly on the road. They asked the police commissioner, and the police commissioner said he's not aware of such a directive. No one talked to them about it. But when they talked to the Commissioner for Education, the Commissioner for Education said, yes, they are aware of that directive, and it's because of insecurity. And as we all know in Nigeria, this is what we're facing, and this was just to protect them. Someone from one of the school's parent-teachers association said they were unaware of this directive as well, that how do you take out children without properly informing their parents? And now these children are just, out of trying to find their way. So it just seemed like, yes, it was good to prepare and protect children, but it has to be done in a way that you think about their safety. You have children out there on the streets trying to find their way. It does not make sense with their property. And you open them to other types of
devices.
Yes,
I agree.
Yeah. So Jigawa State should try and sort that out.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. That's all we can take on the newspaper segment. When we come back, we take Union Bank's Save and Win Mali promo. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.